In this episode, we are going to talk about A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel García Márquez. This story is strange, mysterious, and deeply meaningful. It begins with an old man who appears after a storm, covered in mud and carrying enormous wings. At first, he looks like a miracle, but as the story continues, we begin to see something darker. The story asks us how people respond to wonder, difference, suffering, and the unknown. Imagine waking up after a storm and finding an old man with huge wings lying in your backyard. Would you help him? Would you fear him? Would you treat him like a miracle? This is the strange question at the center of the story. The old man's wings make people think he might be an angel, but his appearance is not glorious or perfect. He is old, dirty, weak, and silent, and that makes the townspeople unsure of what to believe. The story begins after days of heavy rain. Pelayo and Elisenda find a very old man lying in the mud near their home. He has enormous wings on his back. Instead of looking powerful or heavenly, he looks tired, weak, and helpless. This moment mixes the ordinary with the extraordinary. A simple backyard suddenly becomes the place where something impossible appears. The townspeople quickly become curious. Some believe the old man is an angel. Others are not sure. A priest examines him and becomes doubtful because the old man does not speak Latin and does not match people's expectations of what an angel should be. This is important because the story does not give a clear answer. Instead, it leaves us with mystery. The old man may be an angel, or he may be something else entirely. Instead of treating the old man with kindness, the townspeople turn him into a spectacle. They stare at him, question him, mock him, and even pay money just to see him. Pelayo and Elisenda begin to profit from his presence. This shows one of the story's strongest criticisms. When people encounter something strange or miraculous, they do not always respond with compassion. Sometimes they respond with curiosity, cruelty, and greed. What makes this story powerful is the way it mixes magic with human behavior. The old man with wings is extraordinary, but the way people treat him is painfully ordinary. The story shows human selfishness, fear, and lack of empathy. It also shows quiet suffering. The old man does not explain himself. He does not defend himself. He simply endures. That silence makes the story even more haunting. This story is a strong example of magical realism. Magical realism is when impossible or magical events appear in an ordinary, realistic world. In this story, a man with wings appears in a normal village, but the people do not react as if they are in a fantasy story. They treat the impossible as part of everyday life. That is what makes the story feel strange and meaningful at the same time. The magic is present, but the focus is still on human nature. The wings can symbolize wonder, otherness, mystery, and the way society treats what it does not understand. Wings usually suggest freedom, holiness, or beauty. But in this story, the wings belong to someone weak, dirty, and rejected. This contrast is important. It challenges our expectations of what the miraculous should look like. The wings remind us that mystery does not always arrive in a perfect or beautiful form. We should still read this story today because it asks an important question. How do we treat people who are different, weak, or misunderstood? The story reminds us that people often judge others based on appearance, usefulness, or entertainment value. It also makes us think about compassion. Do we help those who suffer, or do we simply watch them? That is why the story still feels relevant. It is not only about an old man with wings, it is about human nature. In one simple idea, A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings is a magical story that reveals both the wonder and the cruelty of ordinary people. The old man may be an angel, but the real focus is on how people treat him. Through this strange visitor, the story shows curiosity, greed, judgment, suffering, and the need for compassion. That is what makes it unforgettable. For more simple lessons about literature and stories, follow Lingualistica. See you in the next one.